Yo, what is up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to explain why you should start cheating in World of Warcraft.
In this video, we'll be discussing a powerful immunity hack being used in Arena that's causing controversy and drama. I'm going to show you exactly how it works, how to counter it, why this happens, and why Blizzard aren't doing anything about it. So recently the streamer Aegis uploaded this video. Aegis came up against a group called We Aren't Getting Banned. They used a hack involving a lag switch, as we'll see. So no one has really explained how this works, so I'll demonstrate here using two of my own characters without all the confusing elements of an arena situation. So I've taken my mage and my evoker here outside of Dornogal. We start a duel. The evoker uses time stop and simultaneously induces lag. There are various ways to do this, but I'll discuss that in a moment. Note that the timing is quite easy to mess up here. Time stop and lag must be induced simultaneously. Now, from the evoker's perspective, they can move around freely. From the mage's perspective, the evoker is fixed in place and cannot be harmed. It is as if the target simply wasn't there. The spells simply just fail. You can lag your client for a maximum of 8 seconds before you lose your connection altogether. Note that losing your connection would be certain death in any kind of rated PvP scenario. After restoring your connection using whatever method, you have a further 8 seconds for full reconnection to occur. So the evoker is basically out of play for 16 seconds, which is just over 1/3 of time stop's cooldown. Now, when the evoker is lagging, they can cast healing spells, and these will activate upon reconnection, meaning the evoker can effectively restore their health to 100% if it was dipping. Now, observe that this is not exclusive to evokers. It can be done by any class with an immunity mechanic. The mage's ice block works just as well. I'm guessing evokers have become the class of choice for this exploit because of the unusually short duration of time stop's cooldown, the shortest of any immunity mechanic in the game. Their self-healing abilities and other defensives help also. The reason you need to activate an immunity mechanic before you go into the lag state is that if you don't, there is the possibility that the enemy player's spells actually register when the lagging player reconnects. You get the damage from all the casts at once, and potentially the exploiter can be one-shot. This only happens if the enemy player is in line of sight of the exploiter, but the exploiter can't actually see where the enemy player is while offline, so it is not easy to be certain where line of sight actually is. Now, in an actual PvP situation, you can see how this works. Before anyone accuses me of cheating, I don't normally do this stuff in my own gameplay. I'm using it here for illustrative purposes in a non-rated battleground where my team had basically already won. As you can see, my evoker is brought down to low health, activates time stop and lag, then moves into the blacksmith and restores their health. So let's just go back to Aegis and address some of the comments he made. First, I should make clear Aegis isn't actually recommending cheating despite the title. He's just pissed off, and not entirely without justification.
So what you just saw is an evoker abusing a third-party program to lag switch his character.
Now, Aegis is likely correct here. Probably the exploiters are using a third-party program. However, that isn't strictly speaking necessary. You can just pull your cable out of your modem, which will have the same effect. Generally speaking, third-party tools just make it smoother and more efficient.
Become immune to damage, and then teleport away. I'm presuming whenever he turns off the lag switch.
There's no actual teleport from the evoker's perspective. He is moving around in real time. It just appears that way from the perspective of others.
So these guys, this guild called We Aren't Getting Banned, has been abusing whatever it is that they're doing, this lag switch, this third-party program, for lack of a better term, it's cheating. They're using a third-party program to have a competitive advantage.
My assessment of this is that they probably don't have any actual competitive advantage. You certainly could if you practiced your arena skills diligently, but that very rarely happens. Exploiters mostly want to use exploits. They don't really want to do something hard like learn arena. That is much less fun. If you mess something like this up, you can easily kill yourself. I emphasize this because people generally believe that any exploit guarantees a win and that they are trivial to execute. They often aren't. It is worth noting Aegis actually won the arena match in question. Note that when the evoker is offline, he's effectively blind. He can't help his partner and he has no information as to what is actually happening. The effective counter to this and many similar exploits is simply to ignore the exploiter altogether and focus on their partners, who are on their own for the duration of the exploit.
They've been doing this for a long time and they aren't getting banned. So that brings us back to the title of this video. Guys, just start cheating in World of Warcraft. The game that we play has no consequences. You can get away with cheating. You're never going to get banned for cheating in World of Warcraft. So we all might as well start cheating. This isn't really getting enough attention, and my video here is to try to just give it a little bit more attention because we need Blizzard to act on this.
A word of advice here. People often come to me with exploits in the hope that that will get them fixed. Giving it more attention often means that more people will do it. Blizzard generally don't really care. PvP has been broken for so many years, it is very unlikely they will take any effective action. With regard to lag exploits specifically, I don't think there is very much Blizzard can do about it. The game just lags too much to not have a fail-safe in place for when it occurs, and that special game state is by definition going to be exploitable, however you do it. To fix lag-related exploits, you'd need to fundamentally redesign the engine. Basically, we'd be talking about WoW 2.
And then, they're even going in on their burner accounts and saying, the guy's name was Gank Job, and then there's a ganky, spanky guy here saying, bro, you almost lost a double DPS, and he was AUG.
Normally, I would agree with Aegis on this one. Taunting people is just kind of nasty, frankly. It is not something I would ever encourage. However, in this case, it is comical. I can't take it seriously. If you must taunt somebody, then you have to at least win the match. You can't taunt someone who just kicked your ass. It's just stupid.
Hey, it's okay to cheat in World of Warcraft. These people are doing it blatantly and getting posted on Twitter, getting posted on YouTube, getting posted everywhere. People are aware of them. So many people are aware of them. And no action is being taken.
No action is being taken. The thing is, the only reason that this is coming to light is that the exploiters in question seem to be unusually dumb and or are actively trying to get banned. There are several problems with expecting Blizzard to take action. I suspect there are half a dozen or less people at Blizzard actively engaged in this type of game protection. Given the generally unimaginative and ineffective fixes they come up with, these are probably very junior members of the team who are being underpaid or not paid at all. If Blizzard do take action, it will generally be very superficial and designed to hide the problem from public view.
They are on Bleeding Hollow and they are known for using exploits in clever use of mechanics in World PvP. Now, I would not call it this at all. This is not exploits. This is not clever use of mechanics. This is third-party programs in order to get a competitive advantage.
I would actually classify this as an exploit for the reason you can do it without the use of a third-party program. A third-party program makes it easier, especially with timing issues, but it is not strictly speaking essential. So, my take on this for what it's worth. This is an exploit channel and we do exploits here. I do exploits mainly because I just enjoy finding them. That said, it is a good idea not to be a massive dick. When it comes to Blizzard, any kind of exploit is fair game. They are a massive, often quite evil corporation. When it comes to other players, not so much. I don't generally use exploits in Arena, though I know of many and have published many. If I wanted to get good at Arena, then I would want to know I was doing so on the same level as other people, so I could tell whether I was actually any good or not. Other people may use exploits or creative uses of game mechanics I develop in Arena, or they may publicize them, try and get them fixed, etc. If I stopped developing them altogether, then there would probably be less players using them, but the ones that would have a monopoly on their use. There would be a lot more zero-day exploits, i.e. exploits which no one knew how they worked, which means they would never get fixed. Either way, it doesn't keep me up at night thinking about it. Finally, I'd just like to add that Aegis appears to be a very talented mage, and anybody who wishes to progress in PvP as a mage should almost certainly be subscribed to his channel.